Hi everyone, welcome back to the latest edition of the Fargo Force Show. Our guest today is Force defenseman Sean Mostrom from Wayzata, Minnesota. Sean, this is your first year with the Force, but not your first year into junior hockey. You played 2 years in some lower levels of junior hockey. Talk to me about what it's like your first year with the Force in the USHL.
I've really enjoyed my time here so far. It's a little bit different from the leagues I played in the past. And
how so? What's the biggest difference have you seen between the NAHL and the other league you've been in?
It's the top end skill, the speed, how quick the play develops, and you just got to adapt.
Was that easy for you, or did it take you 10 games, 20 games into the season, or does it hit you the first couple of games and you have to really crank up your game to fit in?
It's been a steady progression. I've played quite a few junior games, and throughout the years, you kind of pick off subtleties of the faster players and how you got to respect them a little more. And it took a little bit of adjustment at first.
Now we mentioned you're a defenseman, 4 goals, 11 assists this season. Describe your game. What are your strengths?
I like to move the puck up quick. Get up to the forwards. My strengths would probably be physical play and just breaking the puck out. You're
6'3", so one of the bigger guys on the team. Are you, as one of the bigger guys, how does the team work? Do you know, or do the guys look to you as kind of maybe setting some of that physical tone? Are you one of those guys?
I like to set physical tone, yeah. Try and get the guys going that way, but try and like to create a little offense too, and get the puck up at the forwards and move up in the rush a little bit too, a little both.
What are the areas of your game that you'd most like to kind of improve, and you still see the most room for improvement?
I'd like to continually work on my vision, continually work on making the right plays, and you can't play a perfect game, but it's always steady progression trying to.
Mm-hmm. Now next season you committed to play hockey at the University of Denver. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad I got to spend another year this year and develop and become a better player.
Always a dream for you to play college hockey somewhere?
Absolutely, and especially Denver.
How come?
My mom went there, and I've always kind of been watching the Pioneers.
Okay.
On the growing up, and whenever they play the Gophers, and
All right. Now, from a player standpoint, sum up this season for the Force. We've talked many times on this show how this season for the Force has kind of been a little up, a little down. Really, a lot of roller coasters. Never a long streak one way or the other. As a player, when you're in it and you're involved in it every week, we sit here just every other week doing this show, but every day you're involved in it. What's it been like from a player standpoint to go through a season like this, hovering right around that 500 mark, a little up, a little down?
Yeah, the season can become long, especially with 60 games spread out just on the weekends. But you just gotta stay mentally strong and physically strong throughout the season, and just try and maintain your strength throughout the season, and just keep a positive outlook throughout the whole time.
Does it stay fun? I mean, you guys are playing hockey. Obviously, you're playing a game that you guys all love. Does it stay fun, or are there times where it's difficult, or is it always more fun than work and all that stuff that goes into it?
It is difficult at times, but most of the time it's fun, and you're getting better, and you get to play hockey every day, so that's a blessing in itself. All
right, not a lot to complain about. We'll have more questions with Sean in a bit, but first, since our last show, the Force have been fighting for that 4th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. They played 4 games, going 1-3 in those games. Let's recap a little bit how it went. We'll start it off with a road trip at Youngstown, Friday, February 27th and Saturday, February 28th. On Friday's game, the Force lose 3-2 in a shootout. They lost 2-1 in the shootout, unbelievably, in the 8th round. Sean, you don't see many shootouts going in the 8th round. How crazy was that?
Yeah, no one was able to score, and the goalies were on their top of their game.
Robbie Badoon with 38 saves in that one for the Force. The next night, maybe the Force's most disappointing performance of the season. They lose 7-1. Most goals they've allowed all year. Most lopsided loss of the season. Jake McLaughlin with the only goal for the Force. All right, so the next weekend, the Force were back at home at Shields Arena with 2 games against second place Tri-City. Thursday, March 5th. First period, the Force already leading 2-0. Tri-City attacking, but Matthias Israelson comes up with a nice save right there. Later on in the first period now, Tri-City's Garrett Gomez is able to slip one just past Israelson with the backhand. 2-1 Force at that point. But a few minutes later, the Force would take control. Jack Jenkins attacks the net, and Brody Stevens crashes hard, and is able to put home the rebound. 3-1 Force there. It was 3-2 after the first period. 5 goals in the first period. Force would hang on for the 4-3 victory. Zach Jan with the game winner in the third period. Dennis Smirnov also had 2 goals for the Force. So that snapped Fargo's 4-game losing skid. More importantly, keeps those playoff hopes still alive. All right, so the next night, could the Force repeat the feat? Same team, Tri-City. They peppered the goal all night. Chase Berger with the wraparound attempt, but Israelson is up to the challenge on this one. Not once, but twice. It was 3-0 Tri-City, though, in the third period when the Force finally lit the lamp. C.J. Hayes flies in and scores with the wrister. Force down 3-1. They got it to 3-2 after a Smirnov power play goal, but that would be it. They came close to tying it. This shot dings off the post, and Jared Rutledge corrals the next shot. He had 22 saves, and the final was 3-2 Tri-City with the win. Force could not overcome those 3 first-period goals. So the Force's playoff hopes kind of getting close to life support as we take a look at the updated standings from the USHL's Western Conference. No change in any of the order from the last, from 2 weeks ago, Sioux City, Tri-City, Omaha, and Sioux Falls. But as we see, the Force at 43 points, 7 points back of Sioux Falls for that 4th and final playoff spot. Still not out of it, Sean, but what do you think of when you look at that? It's going to take pretty miraculous. You guys haven't gone on a good winning stretch this year, haven't won more than 2 games in a row. Now's the time, right?
Yeah. We definitely have to put a streak together here, and every game counts.
Do you feel like, I've asked some of the other guys too, have you guys felt like throughout the season at different points, you're right there, you've kind of felt like, we're playing pretty well, but you just haven't been able to do it? Or is it one of those things where we haven't felt like you kind of gelled and clicked at any point?
I think we have a pretty close team. We've gelled and clicked pretty well, but, throughout the season, you don't get the bounces you want some games, and some games you do, but it seems that some of the bounces haven't been going our way recently, so hopefully they'll come around here for us in March. Now,
as we saw in the standings, 19 wins for the Force, though, which is already a 5-game improvement from last year, so that's nice. 35 points as well, so that last year 43 this year, so an 8-game improvement. Has it felt like, have the coaches kind of clued you guys in, or even some of the guys that have been with the team for a couple of years, have you felt like it's been, have you felt that improvement, or do you guys maybe not focus it on that? Some of you guys haven't even been here last year, so maybe not.
Yeah, being that a lot of guys weren't here last year, we really just tried to move on from last season, and we want to be a playoff team, and we still want to be a playoff team, and that's our goal right now.
Coming up with these upcoming games now, what's the biggest key to getting this done, to starting where you get on a little 3, 4, 5-game winning streak and make this playoff race really interesting?
I think physical play. I think just going after guys, run their guys, getting the puck deep, and just staying consistent and not getting away from that 2 or 3 minutes of the game where they'll score 1 or 2 goals, and staying with it throughout the entire 60 minutes.
Now back to you a little bit. We talked about this before we started taping. You have kind of an interesting ritual that you do before all the games. Tell me a little bit about that and where it got started.
I take a cold shower before every game, right before I get dressed, just right after warm-ups. Kind of something I've done since high school just to get me going.
So not even just before, but like after warm-ups. You go out there and warm up, and then you come back and do that. It's not like even before you put everything
the pregame warm-ups.
Oh, the pregame, okay.
Before we get dressed, right?
What do you think it does for you? Or why did you even start that?
Just gets a little adrenaline going, gets you going a bit.
Okay.
But I don't know. Just something I've stuck with throughout juniors.
Now, even though you go by the name Sean, actually, that's not even your first name. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, my first name's actually Richard. As is my grandpa's and my dad's, and so you could say I'm Richard III. And but yeah, ever since I was born, I've gone by Sean.
So that would be a pretty good, interesting hockey call though when you score Richard III with the goal. Now, have you told the announcers maybe for the last game or the last week or something we can do that?
Not yet. Might have to.
People wouldn't know. People wouldn't know who the heck you were talking about if you did that, huh?
Yeah.
What's been the most fun part of this season for you? I know you guys. A lot of you guys go to school or do other things out in the community to whatever. Along with the games and the wins, what's the most rewarding and the most fun part for you this season?
Connecting with community, connecting with the fans after the games. I had my player spotlight this last week, and just getting out there and being able to talk to a lot of the fans and being able to interact with them has really been great for me. So.
What about the support at Shields Arena? The crowd's been great again this year. Not many places in the USHL have the fan support. How does that affect you and the guys? What is it like as a player going out in front of that night after night?
Best fan support I've had throughout juniors, and I'm just a great group of people that all rally around us every night, and they love to interact with us after games, and they really make it easier on us throughout the long season.
Nice. Well, Sean, thanks for joining us this week. Best of luck the rest of the way, and get on a little hot streak here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Fargo Force Show. Have a good one, everybody.